Hey fellow book lovers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited about today's video because today I'm going to be sharing with you all the books I hope to read this fall. It is October 7th, which means that in Georgia it's still really hot, but it is October, so I'm pretending that it's fall. So I have my sweater on and I'm trying to be cozy. Fall typically doesn't start in Georgia till about mid-October and lasts through November. So anyways, I have 8 books or something that I want to read this fall. It's pretty ambitious for only 2 months, but I'm gonna try my best. I'll be honest, I probably won't get to all of these, but it's the thought that counts, right? We're gonna try. Okay, let me pull up my list and share with you all the books that I want to read. Also, do you guys like my little bookshelf? I'm sitting in my living room of my dorm, and we have this adorable little bookshelf, so I thought I would try to film in front of here today. The first book that I wanted to read this fall was A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I've actually already read this book. I finished it a couple of days ago and it was very enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's the best book ever, but it was fun and it did give me all the October vibes. This book follows a young woman whose family is from England and she lives in India. And while she's in India, her mother is murdered. And all these weird things start happening. She starts getting visions and it's just very odd, spooky kind of stuff. When her mother passes, she moves to England and goes to a girls' finishing school. And while she's at finishing school, her visions get more intense and this guy follows her there to warn her about the visions, and he's all this magical stuff is happening, and of course she doesn't know what he's talking about. But while she's at the boarding school, she and a couple of her friends create a little cult-like thing, but things get a little crazy with this magical little cult they've created. So definitely October vibes, spooky stuff. I probably won't finish this series. It was good, but it wasn't amazing enough for me to really continue reading, but it was enjoyable and it was a good start to my fall reads. The next book I have on my list is a book that I'm currently reading, and that is The Kingdom of Back by LaRue. This book so far is super entertaining. I'm about 2/3 of the way through, so I'll be finishing it up in the next couple of days, I'm sure. This book follows Mozart's sister. Obviously, when you say Mozart, you know, okay, a great composer, but no one ever knows that he has a sister, but apparently he did, and she was super talented as well. And the only reason we don't remember her now is because she was a woman, and women weren't allowed to compose. You know, they just weren't allowed to do a lot of things. So this follows the struggle of Mozart's sister because she really wants to be as famous as her brother. She's just as talented as he is, and she composes great music, but no one can ever know because of her gender. So this follows them while they are kids, the brother and sister, and as they create music, they also dream up a fantasy land, which they name the Kingdom of Back. And they find that they can travel to the Kingdom of Back, and that this magical, mystical fantasy world slowly gets interwove, I don't know. It gets connected into their lives. So there's magical elements, it's historical fantasy. It's really interesting. Things, like I said, I'm almost done and things are starting to get really spicy. Things are going wild, so I'm very interested to see how it's going. I would recommend this book for sure. I think it's a great kind of spooky book to read this October. Yeah, so that's this one. Let's see what's next. Okay, the next 2 books that I want to read, I don't actually have. Oh, the next 3. There's a lot on this list that I don't have yet, so I'm gonna have to check them out from the library or go buy them or something. So the first one, I'll put it right here, is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, I think is her name. If I remember correctly, this book is about a girl in high school who, for a project, starts investigating a murder mystery that was never solved. I don't really know much about it because you guys probably know by now, I never read synopsis. I like to go into the book knowing absolutely nothing. So that's about the extent I know about this book. I know there's a murder mystery and it's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So it sounds spooky, it sounds like a good fall book. I'll read this one pretty soon. The next book is a book that I want to read so badly. I heard about this on another booktuber's fall reads video, and I can't remember who that was, but I will definitely link her video down below. Her video was very good. Go watch it. It made me want to read all these books. And that book is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, I think is the author's name. I don't remember much about what this book is about. I think it is about a murder. Hold on. Let me look it up. I know that there's Shakespeare and I know that there's murder, and that sounded really, really good. Oh, so it says Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. I'm not gonna read the rest of it. So it is something about a murder and a Shakespeare cast. I don't know what show they're putting on. I think it takes place in an elite arts college, and I think it's a group of students putting on a Shakespeare play, and maybe it's one of the students who gets framed for murder. I don't know. Either way, I'm going to read it, and I know that's gonna be awesome. It has fantastic reviews. So that's that book. Let's see what's next. Oh, this is another book that I'm excited for that I don't know much about, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've only read one V.E. Schwab book, and that was Darker Shades of Magic, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I would love to read more by her. This book, I don't know, like I said, I don't know much about it. I never know what I'm talking about. I'm so sorry. Maybe I just shouldn't, whatever. Oh, it takes place in France in 1714. I think she sells her soul to the devil or something so that she can live forever. And then you watch her life play out across many centuries, and then 300 years later, probably in like modern times, Addie stumbles across a young man hidden in a bookstore and he remembers her name. Ooh, it sounds interesting. I think it sounds great. I'm gonna read that. I'll let you guys know how that is once I read it. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, the next book, I don't have my copy with me here at school, it's at my house, but that is Withering Heights by, oh my gosh, who's Withering Heights by? Oh, it's by Emily Bronte, duh. Her sister Charlotte Bronte wrote Jane Eyre. I am so sorry to all those classic literature fans that I just offended. Yes, anyways, I want to read Withering Heights by Emily Bronte. I don't know what it's about. Something weird. I think it's like a spooky book. I don't know. All I know is that it's a classic and that it's supposedly creepy and that I should read it. You guys probably know what Withering Heights is. You guys are probably more cultured than I am. Okay, yes, so Withering Heights. I want to read that. Next. Ooh, next is another book that I don't have and I don't know anything about, and that is The Diviners. I think that's also by Liva Bray. I know it has something to do with magicians, and it sounds like a good October book to me. Ooh, it says something dark and evil has awakened. Ooh, it takes place in the 1920s. That's fun. Something about a serial killer and a shocking secret. I don't know, but it sounds dark and spooky and like a good fall read. So I'm gonna try to get to that one soon too. I have so many on this list. I know I'm not gonna get to all of them, but The Diviners I definitely want to read. Okay, next up we have In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of this from your high school lit classes. This is a basic book that a lot of people read in high school. I know that it's about a real murder that happened, and I think the author like goes through and pieces the murder together and tries to like explain what happened. Maybe it's told from the perspective of the murderers. I don't even know. So this says Truman Capote reconstructs the murder and the investigation that led to the capture, trial, and execution of the killers. He generates both memorizing suspense and astonishing empathy. I've had this book since, it was my sister's, so I've had it for many years. People read it in 11th grade lit. I didn't read this book, I read a different one instead, but everyone always says they love it. And since it's murdery, it sounds like a good spooky read. Next, we have another book that I'm thinking is more November vibes, and that is When Dimple Met Rishi by Santa Menon. I am so sorry if I just mispronounced this name. If you guys know how to say the author's name, please leave me a pronunciation down below. I'm awful at pronouncing names if you guys haven't seen by now. But anyways, this book looks cute. I don't think it's necessarily a fall vibe. However, the spine is orange and there's orange on the cover and it just makes me think of fall when I look at it. So I'm gonna say it's a November book. I think it's just like a cute little high school rom-com. So the characters are Indian and I think they're supposed to be having an arranged marriage, and the girl is like, I don't want someone else to decide my husband, but the guy's like all for it. He's like, oh, I'm gonna woo my future wife. And then they meet at like a summer camp, but it looks cute and it looks like a good, like just like kind of fun, lighthearted read. So I think this will be a fun November book. And the final book that I have in my list is another book that I plan to read in November, but I probably won't get to, and that is Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I do not know the plot of this book. All I know is that it's written by Jane Austen, so I know it's going to be some kind of romance set in historical England. Ooh, so it's about two sisters. They're very different, their father dies. It's probably just, you know, their lives and their romances and stuff. I don't know why this feels like a November book to me, but it just does. I'm feeling like this is kind of a fall book. So I'll try to get to this one in November. We'll see if that happens. I'm really bad at sticking to my list, so probably not. But anyways, those are all the books that I have to share with you guys today. I'm really excited to read If We Were Villains and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Those are gonna be my top priorities for this month. We'll see if I can get around to them. I don't know with how busy my classes are right now. We'll see if it happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed this video, and also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my content. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!